Hello, and welcome back. Today, I'm going to be going through some updates on these heads, and I'm going to answer a question that was asked in a previous video. So the updates on these heads is I've gone to 7 different machine shops, and each one of them has led me to a dead end. I was basically told at some of them that the bore was too small and they didn't want to practice. I was going to give them a set of Windsor heads because I have a couple sets of these, but they didn't want to actually attempt it and sent me on my way. And they were completely busy with boat and race engines. There was one shop that actually did give me kind of a lead, saying that he had a machine to do it. The issue was somebody from out of town bought it about 6 months ago, so he can't hook it up. It's just sitting back there, and there's nothing I can do with that. So my next option was, well, why can't I make a tool? You know, I've seen line boring tools. There's actually one from Dura-Bond. Dura-Bond makes one. It's got a bar that goes across the whole head, and it has a reamer on one side that you use a drill and you push it through. I've seen some really bad reviews on that one, and I didn't want it to be my first choice. So I looked up another one online, and I found one coming from Italy. I did some research into it and found out that that one was going to be about $1,600 to $1,700. And coming from Italy, I don't know what shipping's going to be. It's probably going to be atrocious. So I started looking at machine shops in town. I figured, well, let's go there and try to make a tool. All you need is a bar, 2 pieces on each end, and some bearings and a cutter tool with different points for each of these cam bearings. But nobody really wanted to work with me. I did come across one guy who I met up with and showed him the heads, and he was very hesitant to actually tell me, yes, I can make you a tool, because it's probably going to be more expensive than the tool coming from Italy. That's my guess. He didn't actually tell me that for sure. But he was starting to ask me, well, why isn't there another tool that can be used? And I told him about the Dura-Bond one, and he definitely was thinking that would probably be my best bet for putting cam bearings in this head. So eventually I'll get that tool. I'll see what it's like. I'll let you guys know. But until then, I'm kind of dead in the water with these. I did get bearings online. I got Dura-Bond from Summit, and there was actually somebody on eBay who was selling a set of these too. Summit does take a while for it to actually ship. So I did some other looking, and Titan Motorsports sells a set of King bearings. Titan Motorsports definitely was the quickest option for getting these bearings. The issue is, how do you put them in? Right now, I don't have that answer. If you do know of a place that actually does the machine work for these bearings, please leave a comment below saying where it actually is. I'd be really curious to find out where I can actually take these to get bearings done on them. And ahead of time, thank you if you do leave a comment. Let me get you a closer look at these bearings. So here we have the Dura-Bond bearings. These actually do have a card in here saying what clearances you need. And the clearances are actually very, very small. That's why everybody's super hesitant on doing these cam bearings. I mean, you look at these things and they're just tiny. So, and you'll also have to put the tangs in the heads for them as well. This is the set of King bearings. These are the ones that came from Titan Motorsports. I'll put a link in the description for each of these bearings and where I got them. And as you can see, 2 individual packages in here with those bearings. Looks like one's tops and one's bottoms. So since I can't go with these Romeo heads, I'm going to go with a set of Windsors. These Windsor heads I've had for, I don't know, 5-ish years. I did some work on them about 2 years ago. I did some valve work. I have this one and another one. The other one doesn't have the valve work done, so I'm actually going to do a video about that. So to answer a question, and anybody else who wants to know, this is going to be a panoramic shot for when the engine's out of this Mustang. These are the components that are around the engine. So the initial question had something to do with the drain for, I believe it was the heater box. I'm guessing your carpet is getting wet. I believe what you're looking for is right there. That should be your drain for your heater box, right above the passenger side exhaust manifold. With the engine out, I'm sure you notice I have a stick right here. I have a couple bell housing bolts in the top, and it's just resting on this stick. I'm actually surprised it hasn't broken yet. As I mentioned before, I am going to use Windsor heads on this project now. As you can see, the cylinder head surface is already machined. And flip this over, and the cam caps, instead of cages, we just have individual caps. That's how you can tell whether or not a head is a Windsor or a Romeo. I did do a little bit of porting here, not much, just knocking down the rough surfaces. I am going to, like I said in a previous video, I am going to put time certs in here. These are the heads that only have 3 threads for each spark plug. So that's another thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you that. This one already has valves, but the other one does not. So on the next one, I'm going to go through that whole head with you. We're going to do valve guides, valve seals, put the valves on. We're going to do some valve lapping and get that whole thing put together. So until then, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.